prayer. We ask that the Almighty takes perfect control of every class session. I like to start by introducing what fashion design is about. What then is fashion designing? Fashion designing is the act of creatively applying aesthetics and natural beauty to clothing and its accessories through a series of processes. And the processes include pattern making, garment construction, embellishment, and host of others. Why fashion? You ask and I respond with the words of Biara cloth makers and trainers that why not fashion when dreams can be fulfilled? Why not fashion when you can be instrumental in the fulfillment of other people's dream? Why not fashion when the very first step to making a clothing piece is first of all falling in love with the silhouette of your body and loving yourself just the way you are, knowing that every body type is unique? Why not fashion when you can look good regardless of how you are? Why not fashion when your self-esteem and your confidence can be boosted because you are putting on the right piece of clothing? Why not fashion when you can express your inner self with your outer appearance? Why not fashion when bonding can be further achieved in clusters, in groups, just because of what you're putting on? Take for example, if you go to a gathering wearing Iro and Buba, someone who is also Yoruba would be able to easily identify with you. Why not fashion when you can be yourself on a budget? Why not fashion when clothing is one of the 3 basic needs of human, as I said in my introduction video? Let's go on to the opportunities that are in the fashion industry. In the fashion industry, there are so many things you can become. You necessarily do not have to be a tailor. You can be an illustrator, you can be a garment producer, mass producing garments for sale. You can be a tailor. So the duty of a tailor is actually one of the duties of a fashion designer. Some people will just open shop just because they can sew. They will tell us, "Hey, I'm a fashion designer." Now that you know, not everybody is a fashion designer. The work of a fashion designer entails a lot more than just tailoring. Tailoring is just an aspect of it. You can be a stylist, you can be a wardrobe consultant, you can be a costume maker, you can even dive into the technology side of fashion. Like, there are so many opportunities in the fashion industry, and I would like us to open our minds as we go on in our trainings to know that it is not only tailoring that fashion design entails. Now let's quickly go into the types of fashion design. We have the high street fashion, we have the bespoke fashion, we have the ready to wear, we have the haute couture fashion, we have the prêt-à-porter. It is a French word. I'd like us to go and browse all these terms and be familiar with it so that we don't take so much of our time. Now let's talk about the skills of a fashion designer. A fashion designer should have the skill of creativity, innovation, and flair. A fashion designer should have an eye for color and a feel for texture. As a fashion designer, you can't just be combining. I see people just put color anywhere and then I ask, what is really happening? People should please inform us. Abi, the word has changed to a colorful word that we are not knowing. You people should be giving us updates. So as a fashion designer, you cannot just put a color on another color without being intentional, without knowing why you are doing that. You should have an eye for color. You should know the kind of color tones that suit your skin type. You should also have a feel for texture. There are people that put certain textures on certain textures. We'll get to textures when we're talking about the elements of design. So as a fashion designer, you're supposed to be vast in all this information so that anything you're doing it intentionally. You're not just doing it because everybody is doing it out there. Another skill you should have is that you should be someone that thinks outside the box. Now, this does not mean that you cannot use other designers' work to create your own, but then while learning or drawing inspiration from other designers, you're supposed to think outside the box to be able to add your own signature so that the piece looks unique and all of that. As a fashion designer, you're supposed to have good interpersonal skills, especially if you want to go into the business of fashion, because you're going to be dealing with customers, you're going to be dealing with suppliers, you're going to be dealing with a lot of people along the line. So you should have good interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence. Quickly, let's talk about fashion and style. Fashion is a popular way of doing things, while style is a way of life. I'll cite an example. Fashion is something that is trendy. Fashion is something that everybody is doing this thing, I want to do it also. While style is your own type of dressing. For example, when you see someone always putting on suits or corporate clothing, you would know that is their own style. Examples of style would include casual, corporate, sophisticated, rock and roll. There are so many types of style out there. I am giving you all this information so that you can also go and expand your knowledge in all of them. These are the things you should know as a fashion designer. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next class. Bye.